Literally, everyone needs to know this. The Democrats just spent $20 million on a study about how to talk and connect with young men, or just men, I guess, in general, but mostly young men. Like, they cannot figure out on their own the reason why they've completely isolated men, young men. They can't figure it out. I mean, everyone's literally telling them, and they decided to spend $20 million to pay someone else to go listen to Joe Rogan and come back to them and report back. Oh, and also it's because they've already tried a bunch of other ways. I don't know if you guys saw the Tim Walz video of him, I don't know, fixing up his car. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was trying to look manly and post it on YouTube, and obviously that didn't hit. So they are trying and failing so desperately. It's honestly so funny. By the way, this study is going to come back and tell them exactly what they need to know, exactly what we've all been saying. But they're not going to implement it. It's going to come down to, are you willing to put in the work to change the fundamental parts of your party that have completely isolated a gender? No, they're going to get the results of the study. And I mean, they know what they need to do. But all Democrats know how to do is just throw money at a problem and think that that's going to fix it. So $20 million to, I don't know, keep trying to figure it out.
We got to talk about the Democrat Party because it has been reported from the New York Times, and you can see here on your screen there, the Democrat Party plans to spend $20 million to reclaim the support from young men. This plan creates a strategy called SAM, Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. It will study the syntax used by young men to create viral posts online and recommends ad buys within video games. Let me start by saying this. Let me start with this. If you have to spend money to figure out how to talk to people, you've already lost. You already lost. I mean, you lost from the moment go. Why do you need to spend money in order to figure out how to talk to somebody? Like, to me, that should simply be common sense. At least to me. Apparently, common sense is no longer common, but let's read a little bit more here on this topic of discussion. Democrats are spending $20 million on a study examining how to speak to American men after losing ground with the demographic during the 2024 election cycle, the New York Times revealed. Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan is a $20 million project crafted by Democrats to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in the spaces of male voters, the Times reported Sunday. Known as SAM, the study will specifically examine young male voters and how the party can connect with the demographic. Additionally, the study advised rolling out pro-Democrat ads in video games. The study's, hold on, let me close that. The study's revelation was made in an overarching article detailing the uphill battle Democrats face after the 2024 election, which included Democrats scrambling to replace former President Joe Biden as the nominee with just more than 100 days left in the election cycle, and ultimately delivering all 7 battleground states to President Donald Trump. The Democratic Party's tarnished image could not come at a more inopportune moment, the article detailed. In this era of political polarization, the National Party's brand is more important and influential than ever, often driving the outcomes of even the most local of races. Now, to me, it's really quite simple. Okay, it's really quite simple. Stop lying. That's number one. Stop lying. Stop getting up there. Stop sending Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer up in front of the mic to blatantly lie to our faces and act as if we don't know the truth. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We can see through the BS, okay? When Hakeem Jeffries gets up and does his whole little shtick with the pregnant pauses and everything and says that Republicans are getting rid of Medicaid and Medicare, stop lying. That's number one. You could gain a lot of ground by simply not lying. Now, I'm not saying they'd win an election anytime soon because, like the article said there, their image is completely tarnished, but stop lying. That's a basis. That is a basis, right? And stop trying to force cheesy. Y'all remember when the Democrat Party rolled out those ads during the Kamala campaign of the manly man? Y'all remember? Well, here's a refresher if you don't remember them. Check a couple of these out.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again. It's your turn, buddy.
Before you cast your vote in this election, think about how it'll impact the people you care about the most.
Daddy!
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty.
You bet I did, brother.
What happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walls.
Like, come on. Like, do you really think that an ad like that is going to attract men? You know, like, stop trying to force it. Here's another one. Check it out.
Man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it. I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Now, do you genuinely believe that is going to attract more men? Like, how many men out here do you know talking like that? Are there some men that out there that exist that talk like that? Yeah, sure, of course. There's always going to be outliers, but those are the outliers. You know, like it's just so fake and just man. The Democrat Party is an absolute shambles, and somebody like Jake Tapper, the liar in chief himself, he took issue with the Democrat Party recently. Check out this clip.
My son is now 15 years old, and he's a gamer. He's a football fan. Starting linebacker on his varsity football team. The Democratic Party has no way of communicating with him. They have no entree into his world. And in fact, it's interesting. I went on a left-leaning podcast that shall remain nameless, and we were talking about my kids because I think they were both people without kids. And they asked me about my son, and I said he was, he's a football player and he wants to be a policeman. And their joke was about my 15-year-old son, oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea that he wants to be a policeman, therefore he's racist, my son. And that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections.
100%.
Like my football playing son, who has no political views. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. You're deciding he's a racist because he wants to be a cop. And why does he want to be a cop? He wants to be a cop because he wants to help people, and he thinks that's the best way he can help people. And that's how the Democratic Party talks to men, not just white men, but men. And I get the idea that they thought Tim Walz what's the term he used? Code switch or something? He thought that he could translate the Democratic Party values because he hunts and fishes and owns a gun and was in the army and drinks a beer. I mean, at least there was an attempt, but I find it just insane.
Yeah, I know the audio was not in sync on that clip, and I apologize about that. That's just how the video played. That had nothing to do with me. But when you have somebody like Jake Tapper even calling you out because how crazy you are, fix your party, okay? Fix your party. That's going to take some years because that is the monster you made. That is the voting base that you pandered to, that you coddled and hugged and whatever else. So now you got to deal with it, because there's no way you're going to be able to just all of a sudden flip a switch, because your voting base isn't going to go with you. And I always bring up the example of Gavin Newsom, because he's the most recent example of a Democrat attempting or pretending to move closer to the center. And we saw what happened to his poll numbers. He dropped to the very bottom of the list in terms of, I believe the question was, who do you see as being the next leader of the Democrat Party or something? And Kamala was at the top. Jasmine Crockett was ranked ahead of Gavin Newsom, along with AOC. Yeah, someone who used to be at the top of that list. As soon as he even pretended that he was going moderate, he fell to the bottom. So I say that to say this to the Democrat establishment: this is the bed you made. Now lie in it. It's going to be a long night for you. It's probably going to be about 20 years before you get to wake up out of that slumber. And even then, when you do manage to somewhat gain your party back and actually and genuinely move back towards the center, your party is going to splinter, because there's going to still be a base of people that you made, that you created, that you told it was okay to be this way. There's still going to be a base of individuals who are going to split from that. So good luck winning over the next, 3 decades. Good luck winning. Now, in all likelihood, Democrats probably will squeak off a win somewhere in the mix. But it's, in my humble opinion, it's going to be pretty unlikely. It's going to take a Republican completely flopping in my humble opinion, in order for Democrats to take a win in the next, 20, 30 years in a presidential election. Y'all can let me know if you agree, disagree, why not. Talk to me in the comments. But yeah, man, if you have to pay $20 million, and that's also the thing, stop trying to throw money at stuff. Money does not solve your problems, Democrat establishment. You just watched it happen in this past election. Didn't they burn through like over $2 billion in 3 months to try to get Kamala elected, only to lose every single swing state and the popular vote? Just because you spend a bunch of money and throw out a bunch of ads doesn't mean you're going to convince anybody that you're all of a sudden the people we should vote for. We see through the BS. We see through it. We understand that you're paying celebrities. We saw that. I don't care what celebrity you pay millions of dollars to get on the stage and shake booty or say, hey, vote Democrat. We don't care. Fix your party, fix your policies, and maybe you'll win an election again at some point. But until then, it's the bed you made. Now lie in it. Thanks for tuning in as always. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments. Peace and love. I'm out.